just snatched this gorgeous RWB 911 from my good buddy Sid. Hopefully he doesn't notice. And we're gonna take it for a quick rip today. We're gonna show you the ins and outs of Sid's car. And here we are on the open road, driving an air-cooled 911. Days do not get much better than this.
Okay, so before we get into it, I wanted to show you guys a project that's been in the making for 2 years now. I'm of course talking about RWB Watches. This episode could not have been possible without them and the time they took to collaborate with Akira Nakai to create 2 limited edition timepieces representing the most iconic and infamous Rauh-Welt builds to see the light of day. This is the 901 RWB Stella and Rotana. After spending some time around these beauties in Japan, I mean, one could really only dream of, driving or owning a car like that. So, if you look closely, that's exactly why each version of this limited edition watch contains a piece of metal actually cut directly from the hood of each of these cars. Now, imagine that, walking around with a piece of Japanese tuning history. I think that's pretty cool. So each model is limited to 305 pieces, and they both feature a myriad of details inspired by the original cars, including the wheel designs, each unique wheel design from both Rotana and Stella on the back. If you want to get your hands on one of these watches and your own piece of RWB, the link is in the description. We're giving you 15% off as well. Just use the code 15-off-roads.
Okay, so a car that basically needs not much of an introduction. If you guys are real OG Roads Untraveled subscribers, you would recognize this car from a video we did, a couple of videos we did on it about 4 years ago. We've been around this car almost every weekend this year. It's at the shop, I sit in it, I just kind of soak it all in because this is a truly one-of-a-kind Porsche 911. It's not for everyone, it's not for the purists. So, you guys might be wondering, is the engine stock, Marcus? Yes, so this is the 3.2 liter. It was previously a 3 liter in the older SCs. This is one of the original chassis 911s, basically from 1963 until 1988. They were basically effectively the same car, just with minor improvements. Yes, some would argue right now that, a new 911's also the same as like a 997 or a 996. They've never changed, that's what that's what Jeremy Clarkson would say. The Beatle jokes, they never get old, But honestly, from 63 to 88, basically very similar cars, the same structure, very similar driving experience. It's not until after that, until the 90s, the 964 generation, personally might be my favorite generation. It wasn't until after that where you started to see the power steering come in. And a lot of these other electronics, major suspension changes came in the early 90s for the 911. But I drove Derek's car down in LA. His is a narrow body car that he put a turbo on it, a massive turbo on. And that car was just insane, but it had the 4-speed gearbox, so the gearing was incredibly long. The gearing's still pretty long in this car, but it's not nearly to the point of that. You could really only use 2nd and 3rd gear most of the time. 4th was basically just for highways and stuff like that. So from the factory, this 3.2 naturally aspirated flat 6, obviously sitting behind the rear axle. From the factory put down in the US model, which this is a US car, not a Canadian car, put down 230 horsepower. So by modern standards, this particular 911 in 88 is not a fast car. So 230 horsepower, yeah, by modern standards is not a lot, but I mean, it really picks up. I mean, let's be honest, the 3.2 is pretty useless under 4,000 RPM. It's like you putt around town, whatever, but when you start getting into it, right when you pass 5, all hell breaks loose. Oh, the way it revs is so good. And what Sid's actually done recently too, big change from last time, you might hear it, it's got equal length headers now. And 2 excuses for mufflers. All right, so obviously you guys know RWB cars, Rough World 911s are very special. They are one-of-a-kind builds completely through and through. And Sid's car here, good friend of the show, this car is no exception, okay? It's been through a number of different iterations, but in the last 12 months, Sid has done a bunch of modifications, okay? So actually kind of matches the RWB watch over here, Rotana, the purple from Rotana. It's very similar to the purple accents Sid's done on here. Biggest change though are the molded on wide body fenders. So effectively when you see a stock standard RWB, a standard car that Nakai-san would finish up, you would see big riveted on aggressive looking fenders. Now Sid's gone the way and molded the fenders to give it a different kind of smoother look. I think it's cool. I think when a car evolves like this over time, I mean, it evolves with the owner, and I've spent a lot of time around this car, and it is 100% a reflection of his personality. So right here, Nakai-san actually painted this on just recently, actually, right before COVID, back in 2019. And that says Prince of Eights, effectively, and then Sid's name in Japanese. And then on the interior here, there are quite a few changes on the interior. That you can see a Magnus Walker RWB steering wheel that's down here. He's gone ahead and put the Renline pedals and the dead pedal in there. All brushed aluminum, looks phenomenal. Half cage in the back here, again with the purple accents on the steering wheel. It's the little things, right? And then he's gone ahead and put the short shifter in there as well. It's a robust car. It's a well put together car. Let's get in, finish up the drive. This Prince of Eights, the 8th in Canada. This was the 8th one built in all of Canada. So Sid is, you know, basically is one of the reasons why I went to Japan in January, why I was able to go to Japan in January, why we were able to shoot that tour at the RWB headquarters and talk to Nakai-san and meet up with everybody there just before Tokyo Auto Salon. I mean, we're talking weeks before COVID hit. And here we are in Japan at RWB headquarters. I think to this day, or for all of this year, it's our most viewed video that we've put out this year. And to me, that speaks volumes to the amount that these cars speak to you guys, the audience and the car enthusiasts. You know, RWB is such a, I don't want to say club, it kind of is a club, it's kind of a cult, it's kind of a way of life, a lifestyle, as cheesy as that sounds. But what RWB is at the heart of it, when it really comes down to it, is the people. And Nakai will be the first to say, like, I mean, yeah, he's the one that travels all across the globe building these cars, personally building these one-of-a-kind, one-off, custom coach-built cars, effectively. He's a modern coach builder. I mean, that's what he is, right? But he'll be the first to tell you that he is not what RWB is. Like, yes, RWB is nothing without Nakai-san, but RWB is also nothing without everybody who supports the movement and is all about this lifestyle and this way of driving and this way of being yourself. It's the ultimate expression. This car really brings me back to a moment in Japan when we were at RWB HQ. You know, late night, just tinkering around, and Nakai-san needed help with something. And you know, I kind of tend to leave the guy alone, you know, give him his space. He likes to work quietly, you know, not many people around. So I gave him his space, but then he comes up and he just, you know, pointed at me, and he needed help, and a couple of us helped him move something across the shop. And it was as simple as that. The moment he asked for my hand to help him do a task, move something across a friggin' shop, and I was like, here we are. It was just so surreal. And it was quiet, no one's really there. It's just us three, us four, just hanging out. And yeah, I mean, the RWB family and the RWB community and the passion behind these cars is what sets it apart from, you know, I hate to say it, but like a Rocket Bunny kit or something you can just, if you have the cash, you can just buy it off a shelf and have someone install it or install it yourself the next week, and you've got yourself a Rocket Bunny kit. The wait list to get an RWB is very long, I'll tell you. It's about a year out right now. So what happens, especially on the street here with an RWB, is because the track width is so incredibly wide, the tires are so grippy, there's so much front end grip, that the front tires will follow little ruts and grooves in the road. So like when you're on the freeway, and if you're driving one-handed, it'll sometimes just like kind of just like throw you a little bit side to side. You really got to be paying attention. As you can see around the corner there too, you're literally fighting the steering. Woo! Oh my God. The lift-off rotation, you still get it. You still get that 911 feel. Lift-off mid-corner, and the car just rotates. There is definitely a fine line though between a nice rotation that you can really feel the weight of the rear end follow around, but because the rear tires are so goddamn big, there's no chance of oversteer. But there is a fine line between understeer and that nice rotation. It's just, it blows my mind that RWBs work. That's the thing. That's what you guys need to understand. I can't thank you enough, Sid, for tossing me the keys for the day and taking this car out and really getting to experience it in the city, on the freeway, out here in the back roads. Sweating my ass off because there's no AC, you know. It's a hardcore experience. It is a rough world indeed. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Sid. I can't thank you enough. Check out autodromo.ca, you guys. My buddy Sid, Will, Kuma, and Justin, they have a shop, and it's called Autodromo. It's in Richmond. Thanks, guys, for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you soon.